Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week from Rockdale. And I'm your host, Larry Cox, and it's glad to have all of you guys join me tonight. And I'm going to say hi to a few people in the room, if you don't mind. I'd like to say hi to Danielle Munoz and William Campbell, Laura Skelton, Charlotte Gellert, Mary Bosworth, Clayton Norwig, Megan Walker. Glad to have you guys join the show tonight. Glad to have everybody here. We're going to have a nice little chat tonight. We're going to do a little bit of review on what's went on this week with the PFA and some splost updates. Good evening, Michelle McGee. Nice to have you here tonight as well. Well, folks, I was going to let y'all know that first I want to talk about the Board of Commission. The Board of Commission has just released their March schedule of BOC meetings. And every one of the meetings that have been released are scheduled to be virtually. And it's because of COVID protocol. Well, I would like you guys to know something that the BOC have been up to. Like 2 weeks ago, they went and flew in airplanes to Washington, D.C., and attended the National County Commissioners Conference in person, attended meetings in person, nowhere near Rockdale County, in Washington, D.C., flew in airplanes, not virtually, but they just released the commission meetings for the month of March, and they are all virtual. And none of them are in person. Now, don't you find that suspicious? And doesn't that coincide with the fact that we're going through this little bit of controversy here in Rockdale County right now with the PFA and the SPLOST issues? So what we have is we have, it's very apparent, the Rockdale County Board of Commission is hiding from the citizens of Rockdale County. They're using COVID as an excuse to hide. Not only did they just do this, but this past week they had 3 nights celebrating Black History Month, and they celebrated the Black Church. And at the Rockdale County Auditorium, right up on Main Street in Conyers, they had 3 nights of church service in the auditorium where the commissioners attended. I know at least one night, and 2 of them attended in person because one of my individuals that watches the show spoke with them because they dropped by to see how things were going on. And 2 of the commissioners were definitely there on one of the evenings in person when there were, 100 people in the house. At the Board of Commission meeting, if they would have one, there'd be no more than 20 people tops, and counting staff, because usually at those meetings they have staff, and you have the 5 to 10 citizens that come and speak to them in person. So you have this BOC who will have celebrations where there are 100 or more people attend in the auditorium, but they will not have a Board of Commission meeting where there will be 20, 25 people tops, and use COVID as the excuse. So this is out of control. That this Board of Commission has this little respect, and actually that they think that the folks of this county are this naive that they don't see the manipulation. The citizens of this county do see the manipulation. We also see the manipulation of individuals running for office who say they've distanced themselves from certain people and are not. You can't do that. You can't say you're distancing yourself from these individuals and then go meet with them for strategize. That kind of stuff is nonsense. And you know what? I'm not going to call anybody out now, but at a later date, after some investigation, there's going to be some things said about that kind of stuff too, because we just can't have this continued deception of people who are running for office and hold office. They have to be held accountable, and they need to be open and forthright with the citizens right now, because we deserve better, and the citizens of Rockdale County will get better. Uh, guys, this is just ridiculous, and we need to stand strong and stand together. And we need to stand up to this BOC who think they can do what they want, when they want, and how they want to the citizens of Rockdale County, and there's nothing that we can do about it. There is something we can do about it. It's called the ballot box, guys. It's called the ballot box. Let me go ahead and talk about, move on from that, because I could get on a tear and just keep going and going and going and going and going, and I'm not going to do that. So, guys, what we're going to talk a little bit about is the PFA, the Public Facilities Authority. I was informed as of Thursday that at the end of session in the legislature on Thursday, that no revised draft resolution has been presented to the local delegation. And guys, it's amazing now. They presented that resolution to the delegation as the legislation being introduced. That mysteriously, once people started questioning it, it became a proposed draft resolution. There was nothing proposed, nothing draft about it, guys. That was the resolution that they intended to be changed into a bill. So this is ridiculous. We've got to stand up to this and say, hey, guys, this is ridiculous. But as of the end of business day Thursday for the legislature, there had been no revised legislation or resolution introduced to them. And Friday was a recess day. So if there's a revision that is going to be introduced to the delegation, it won't come before tomorrow. And I will be on that and asking the delegation, members, when that happens. And if they do present a revised resolution and they do find someone in the delegation to carry that legislation, then since it's going to be local legislation, they're required to run an article in the Citizens, an ad in the Citizen. Once they run that ad in the Citizen, then it can begin its journey. Proposed draft. There was no proposed draft, Clayton. That was the resolution that passed by the BOC. There was, if it was a proposed draft, then you don't have to vote on it and pass it. A proposed draft is something hey, I'm going to possibly propose this. Take a look at it and see what you think. They went through the process of actually voting on it and approving as a resolution. That was an approved resolution that was sent to the delegation that hopefully someone would pick it up and have it written as a bill and carried as local legislation. There was nothing proposed about it. That was a enacted resolution that the county passed. And when you get caught with your hand in a cookie jar, then you try to change it. That's ridiculous. And we just don't need to fall victim to that nonsense. Are the legislators aware of that? They promised a revision. Yeah, the legislators are aware that they were going to send them a revised piece of legislation. That is actually what members of the legislature had told me. They were waiting on the county to send them a revised resolution from after having their 3 meetings with the citizens of Rockdale County virtually. And also, I was going to say, if anyone had read the Rockdale Citizen, or you may have been privileged to a copy of it, that the Rockdale Democrat Party actually came out against the resolution as presented and as the supposed proposed draft resolution. So the Democrat Party actually opposed that, and there was an article in the Rockdale Citizen about the Democrat Party sending a letter to the Board of Commission opposing the proposed PFA as presented at this time. Guys, this is if y'all remember, the Rockdale Voter had a town hall at Honey Creek, and it was standing room only at the town hall. and it was well represented by Democrats, Republicans, Independents, people of all walks of life attended that meeting, and it was even attended by representatives of the SPLOST committee, who at the meeting attempted to defend the SPLOST and say the SPLOST was not attached to the PFA. Unfortunately, the SPLOST and the PFA have everything to do with each other. And this Board of Commission is well aware of that. And their intentions are for the PFA to take the place of the SPLOST. Then the SPLOST would be a subsidy funding for departments, and it would no longer do any capital expenditures. And that's the truth, guys. And in the meetings, the county stated, the representatives, that there would be $360 million that would be available through the PFA. And I will guarantee you this, they would spend all $360 million. They were going to max out our credit limit in general obligation bonds. They will max out the credit limit on this. And I'm just telling you guys, this is ridiculous. SPLOST stands for Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. And in my opinion, and I'm going to pull it up right now, and I've got a copy of this, and I'm going to show you what was presented as a resolution for the SPLOST. And if you guys look at it, it's just general numbers. There are no specific projects. You have transportation, a little over $35 million. Sheriff's Department, $5.3 million. Fire and 911, $8 million. Parks and Recreation, $4.4 million. Courthouse, $19.6. That's a total of $72.6 million for the county. Then, we usually talk about the city and how fiscally responsible and this and that. Well, they've fallen into the same shenanigans. They've lumped this and just gave general numbers. Public safety, $5 million. Roads and bridges and sidewalks, 7.9, almost 8. Parks and green space, 1.8. Equipment and vehicles, 1.6, totaling 16.4, with a grand total of the SPLOST being $89.1 million. Now, guys, I'm just going to tell you what. That is ridiculous. You see this $19.6 million that is going to be spent at the courthouse? This is a courthouse that our county government has stated in those 3 meetings that it's not usable, that they need to move out immediately, that they need to do something about it, that it's not safe to occupy. So if we're planning on building something and moving out immediately, why would we spend $19 million? And since the courthouse committee met in 2018, they have steadily been doing repairs to courthouse to bring it up to ADA and safety requirements. And I was told by a source that's very familiar and embedded in the courthouse and knows what's going on, that no more than $3.5 million of this 19 would need to be spent to make the courthouse compliant with everything that it needed to be compliant with. And furthermore, from my sources, the courthouse is actually grandfathered in and is not in any threat or danger of being closed by the judicial system, the United States Judicial Department, because the courthouse is grandfathered in, and as long as it doesn't change title, that means somebody else purchases it and change it, or a significant upgrade or remodel is done to the building falls within the grandfathered stage, grandfather clause. So this building is in no way or any danger of being shut down or closed down by the federal government. That's just something that the county has said since 2018, since the failed $140 million debacle of trying to issue general obligation bonds, and the citizens of Rockdale County by 69.87% voted that down. That's as close to 70% almost as you can get. 70% of the voters of Rockdale County voted down that $140 million general obligation bond debacle that this county tried to get us into. Guys, I'm telling you, if this county gets their way and they would get a PFA, then your property taxes are going to skyrocket because our county will go into a hyperdrive of evaluation of property. I know people this past year, and we did the rollback rate, and they still had property tax increases of $300, $500, and $600. And these are individuals who the rollback rate kicked in, but because property evaluations kicked in and we didn't do a net zero tax increase, then their property values caused their taxes to increase. Now the county tries to say this is not a tax increase. They say this is property evaluations. If your property goes up and they tax it and your tax bill goes up, that's a tax increase. But they try to say it's a good thing because your property values went up. No, it's not necessarily a good thing. The only time it's a good thing if your property values go up if you're going to sell your property. If you don't intend on selling your property and you intend on living in that part of property and your property value continues to rise and taxes continue to rise, then what good is that doing you unless you intend to sell the property? I don't intend to sell my property. So what I'm looking at is increase, 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 increase. And the citizens of Rockdale County deserve better than this increase, increase, increase. So let me see what Clayton says here. I want to put so why not respect the public's vote down of the bond? Why the end round? You know, Clayton, I'm going to talk to you about why, my opinion, why it's the end round. In local and municipal government, one of the big negatives of local and municipal government are these kind of projects where you have land deals. Most corruption that occur at the local level occur with land deals. Anytime you have large segments of property and land that's involved and you have county officials that are involved or something, then there's always some kickback or money that goes downhill. Let's just take, for example, our situation with the SPLOST and a courthouse. If we would do the courthouse with a SPLOST, $25 to $40 million SPLOST money, courthouse built, no debt. We own Parker Road, utilities already available. So if we go into Old Town, they want to do a well over $100 million project because they're saying public courthouse, admin, and parking structure. You're back to the $140 to $200 million project that we voted down in 2018. Not only that, you talk to anybody who is familiar with infrastructure and water and sewer and the infrastructure in Old Town, they will tell you that it would not be out of the realm of possibilities once they started doing that project in Old Town that a $40 to $100 million price tag would be attached to that infrastructure, aside from the $200 million price tag that we're looking at for the buildings or building that they intend to build in Old Town for a courthouse if we go that route. So you're talking $300 million. So if we would spend $300 million, you're looking at $600-700 million in debt after financing up in Old Town. And that's just reality, folks. We're looking, if we build something into Old Town, we're looking at easily having over $500 million in debt. And this is what I do. I challenge someone from the county to actually throw me numbers out that would be different. Throw them out there. Prove me wrong. You know, show me that you're not going to spend $140 to $200 million on some sort of building. Prove me wrong that once we start digging up those streets and such, that we're not going to cause significant infrastructure damage to the Old Town and have a major catastrophe on our hand. You show me where that's not going to happen. You show me where we're not going to end up spending $200 to $300 million that will result in over $500 million in debt over 40 years. You show me that, Rockdale County, because you can't. You can't show me that because that's reality. We had a virtual meeting the other day with 6 or 7 individuals touting how great this thing was, and maybe 2 of them were residents and could vote in Rockdale County. You had 6 to 8 people touting how wonderful this thing was. And this is the sad thing about it. A lot of those people are actually department heads that work in Rockdale County. You know, guys, we have people making decisions and putting rules and policy in place that it doesn't even impact them, because they go somewhere else at night and lay their head and go to sleep, because they don't have to deal with the consequences or the fallout that they cause in this county by the decisions that they make. They don't have to pay our tax bills. They don't have to live with the consequences of what they've decided to do to us, because they go home to their counties and they go to sleep in their beds that are not in our counties. They go to vote in their elections, which are not in our counties. And that's why it's so important this coming May. The Rockdale voter has filed documentation to oppose the SPLOST. The Rockdale voter will be raising funds to oppose the SPLOST. The Rockdale voter has already purchased signs. The Rockdale voter has already purchased door hangers. The Rockdale voter will be distributing some of this stuff at the Cherry Blossom Festival the weekend of March 26 and 27. The Rockdale voter group is prepared to stand with the citizens of Rockdale County shoulder to shoulder and fight this battle. Because if we allow this SPLOST to be passed, then this Board of Commission will come at you full throttle. If we allow this SPLOST to be passed, then we're sending the message, we're your fools, we're your suckers. Come take our money, because we don't care. But it's up to us as citizens of Rockdale County to educate the electorate. It's up to us to educate the folks of Rockdale County of why this SPLOST, as presented, is bad for them. Because as long as there is a threat of a public facilities authority being enacted in Rockdale County, we can no longer pass a SPLOST. We have to send a strong message to this Board of Commission that we will not stand by and be taken advantage of anymore. We cannot let this Board of Commission hold us hostage. We cannot let them threaten us. I met with someone the other day, and their concern was, and this is what their concern was. Their concern was if the SPLOST doesn't pass, then the Sheriff's Department might not be able to fulfill their budgetary needs, because they depend on some SPLOST money to fulfill their budget. Guys, SPLOST is not intended for that. Special purpose, local option sales tax. It is not a budget supplement. The SPLOST was never intended to supplement your M&O budget. The SPLOST was intended for special purpose projects, because the SPLOST is not a guaranteed form of income. It is a tax that can be given and taken away by the citizens of Rockdale County. We must take this SPLOST away to make our elected officials know that the SPLOST isn't something they can always count on. If they misuse it and abuse it, then we will take it away. The Rockdale Voter Group will be running a campaign to make the citizens of Rockdale County aware that this SPLOST needs to be defeated. It needs to be defeated so that we send the message that you're not going to enact a PFA. Okay. She asked a question. Laura asked a question. How is an oversight committee put in place? Laura, there is an oversight committee put in place. But this is the thing about the oversight committee. The oversight committee is put in place, but the oversight committee on this SPLOST was not allowed to put projects together. There is just a general general budget with no line items in it. They've got transportation, $35 million. There are no specific transportation projects. Sheriff's Department, $5.3 million. There's just $5.3 million we're going to give to the Sheriff's Department but there are no specific special purpose projects that have been designated for that. So we are being asked to pass a SPLOST when we do not know what the special purpose projects are. Trust us, give us the money, and we'll come up with the special purpose projects later. Don't think it's not supposed to work that way, guys. Even the legislation states that they're supposed to name the projects. And they claim, and by loophole, they're claiming by naming transportation 35 million, that is naming the project. It's transportation. No, you're not naming a specific project. You're just saying you're going to spend it on some transportation. Sheriff, you're just going to spend it on the sheriff. And I've already got a citizen who is this person sits on the SPLOST committee also, and they know how this money is spent. That $1.5 million of it helps subsidize the sheriff's budget. And come on, guys, it's time that we spend the money. But I said, but that's not what the purpose of the money is. Well, but he still needs to make his budget. Well, maybe they need to spend their budget money properly. Maybe they need to budget properly. I will not have signs Thursday night. Dan Burks asked if we would have signs Thursday night. We will not have signs Thursday night. The earliest, I think we're going to get our literature and our signs around March the 10th. So after March the 10th, we will have Vote No SPLOST signs, and we will have door hangers, and we will be getting more material after that. We're going to have a really big campaign. Look for billboards. Look for people doing all kinds of different things. Door-to-door campaigns, mailers. We've got a lot of people that have committed to commit funds to this effort, and the Rockdale voter is willing to take this and run with it. So we're glad to do this. I'm a member of the Rockdale voter. The Rockdale voter has an advisory council that has been set up that will meet and discuss these things. So, and the advisory council is made up of Democrat, Independent, and Republican voters in Rockdale County. We are glad to serve you and to fight for you, citizens of Rockdale County. I am actually excited about this opportunity to do this. And anyone who wants to help is more than willing to help. Mary, we thank you for that offer. We will at some point on the Rockdale voter website, we will have sign up for people who want to help to wave signs at early voting, because that's going to be a key thing to do, is to stand out front of early voting, to hold those signs up, SPLOST Vote No, and to actually know things, because voters may come up and ask us why we're opposing the SPLOST, and we need to be able to answer that question in a manner that the voter understands why they should vote no against this SPLOST. So we're going to, anybody who wants to volunteer, we welcome you to volunteer. This is going to be all hands on deck effort, because the citizens of Rockdale County, it's something we can't let down on. And it's something we can't allow this Board of Commission to just walk all over us, guys. We've got to do the right thing here in Rockdale County, and that's oppose this SPLOST and teach this Board of Commission that they just can't do what they want, when they want, and how they want to the taxpayers of this county. Enough is enough. Our own finance director, who started to walk back on this stuff, if anybody watched those virtual hearings, he said he might have misspoke to a group of citizens. He didn't misspoke. He just doesn't have that new job yet. He's got to watch what he's doing. Corliss, we will send that sign up link. The sign up link is not it's not been made yet. So as soon as we do the sign up link, we will. It's a little early in the game, we believe, for the sign up link. We're going to wait probably till the second week of March before we start that, after qualifying for candidates and such occurs. So look, and I'll announce that on This Week in Rockdale. It'll go out on different things that we have to send messages out to people, different Facebook accounts, different social media. Some of you guys that have next door apps, we'll ask you to put it out there. But as soon as we do have the sign up, we will. Catherine Lynn, now that the Democrat Party has taken a stand as the Rockdale Republican Party to make a statement regarding its position on the PFA. Actually, the Rockdale Republican Party sent out an email to all its members stating that it stood in opposition of the PFA with the Rockdale voter group. So the Rockdale Republican Party has made a stand. They have put a statement out that they are standing in supporting the Rockdale voter group in their opposition of the PFA and the SPLOST. And the Rockdale Republican Party has donated $1,000 to the Rockdale voter to help it in its fundraising efforts to be able to combat the SPLOST. So yes, the Rockdale Republican Party has spoken with words and with money when it comes to this effort. We voted in an executive board meeting to actually donate $1,000 to the Rockdale voter so that the Rockdale voter would have some more financial means. The Rockdale voter has begun raising money. That's not the only donations that the Rockdale voter is doing. So anybody that's concerned about the Republican Party is going to be right in this fight with the Rockdale voter group and fighting this SPLOST, and we're going to be fighting it hard. Actually, the signs that you're going to be able to get and the literature at the horse park at the Cherry Blossom Festival will be at the Rockdale Republican Party tent. So we have told the Rockdale voter group that we would put the signs at our tent at the Cherry Blossom Festival. So the Rockdale Republican Party will be having those signs and we will also have members of the Rockdale voter at our tent that will also be signing up people to help fight in that opposition of the SPLOST. So we've got a lot of things going on. And, I'm just going to thank everybody out there for everything that you guys do, because I know most of the people that watch this show, they usually stand in accord with the beliefs of this show and the ideology of this. So, Clayton, you just made a comment. The PFA and the SPLOST, as you know, are two different things. Why are you lumping them together? Because they do go together, Clayton. Because the Board of Commission is attempting to replace the SPLOST with the PFA. The PFA, if enacted, would become the entity that the Board of Commission would do all capital special purpose projects with. They would then use the SPLOST as a supplemental fund to budgets for different departments. So the two do go together, Clayton. The PFA is nothing more than an attempt to make the SPLOST a supplemental fund. A courthouse should be built with a SPLOST because that's what it was intended for. There has been no courthouse project in the state of Georgia as of yet that has not been done with a SPLOST. And I know the chairman sent out a text that Henry County was thinking about it and such and this and that. If you would have watched the show last week, you would have seen we showed a distinct difference between Henry County and Rockdale County with the number of businesses, the amount of taxes that are collected, that the budget is 3 times that of Rockdale County. And that's one of the things that the Democrat Party asked in their letter. They asked the Board of Commission to show a comparison with a county that was of the same size population-wise, and they have failed to do that. And also, the Board of Commission would be the same individuals that would approve bonds as well as introduce the bonds. It would be an additive. Clayton, right now they don't intend to use the SPLOST for any special purpose. They don't intend to use, if there's not a real special purpose project if you don't add a courthouse that's going to be on there. There are things we are allowed to use the SPLOST for besides a special purpose, but there's no true special purpose. So unless we actually have a special purpose project on that SPLOST, then I don't think we can ever vote for one ever again. And we can't have a PFA if they're going to use the PFA for special purpose projects. So, your fear about it being an additive is correct. It would be an additive, but it's also a replacement for the SPLOST, so they would never have to use it for a special purpose project ever again. And that would be the intent of the PFA, is to build a courthouse, to build anything that we should be doing with the SPLOST, because they don't want to take $25 to $40 million from it, because it takes from their budget supplement. All you've got to do is look at those numbers, Clayton. They speak for themselves when you look at what they've intended to do with the SPLOST this coming year, not actually identify any specific projects, just give you a generalization of departments that they're going to be spent under. And also, the SPLOST and the PFA both had that little thing added to them about no audits. And can you believe this, people? They claim that the reason they added that clause is because they're so honest, they're going to do the right thing with your money. They wanted to save you money by not having audits. That's probably the one thing none of us mind paying for with this group of individuals is an audit. So no, the reason they put those clauses in there is because they said they wanted to save you, the taxpayers, money by not including audits. Can you say BS? I can say BS. Man, that is total BS. Oh, my Lord. These folks are out of control just with some of the nonsense they come up with. The lowest, just the craziness. The Cherry Blossom Festival, it could end up being a great event, and it's going to it could be a great thing. I think it's going to be a good thing for you and me and the citizens of Rockdale County when they're able to come out and get their signs and just support what's going on. Also, I want to talk about something, because I'm not going to stay on here the whole hour tonight. I've beat that SPLOST up pretty good tonight in the PFA, and this is the thing about it, guys. I will continue to talk about the SPLOST and the PFA in the same breath, because there are no difference. They are the same thing. They are the same thing. And people who say it's not fair, it's mostly the county saying it's not fair that I lump the two together, because when I lump the two together and I tell the truth about what's going on, they know that you begin to see the truth about what's going on, and they don't like the truth being exposed. The truth to this BOC is a dangerous thing. The truth to them is very dangerous. I was at a BOC meeting one time, and one of them told me, said, Mr. Cox, you say, in the manner you say things, people think that that's the truth. Well, it may be because the things that coming out of my mouth were true, and that they were wanting you to believe a fantasy. It's time to quit believing the fantasy, look past the hype, look past the rollouts, because that's everything they do is a rollout, guys. When you have your PR department and you roll out, and those 3 meetings they had were not virtual town halls, they were not virtual informative meetings, they were virtual public relation meetings. They were spin meetings. Those were meetings to try to make you get the warm and fuzzies about what these characters are trying to do. Don't fall victim to this nonsense. Don't fall victim to this crazy crap that this Board of Commission has been up to for years. I'm not going to lay it light on these guys. Does anybody out there think I've ever laid it light on them? And am I getting heavier these days? But you know what? I'm going to get heavier, guys, because we're in the fight of our life right now. We're in a fight to save our county. We're in a fight to let our public officials know you work for us. It's time that they realize they work for us. Guys, I want to let you know something. This Thursday night, the Rockdale Republican Party will be having its annual, its monthly meeting. We're having it in the Meachies over off Parker Road, and we are having a very special guest this coming Thursday. We are having former Senator David Perdue, who is running for governor of the state of Georgia, will be attending our meeting this coming Thursday. This would be a great opportunity for you to come and listen to David Perdue, see what he's got to say, and see why he's opposing a sitting governor. That's a very rare thing in this state that someone of the same party opposes a sitting governor. So David Perdue will be attending the Rockdale County Republican Party meeting this coming Thursday at Amici's, March the 3rd, Thursday at Amici's. The meeting, the doors open at 6. The meeting starts at 6:30 and goes to 8. David Perdue will be coming from another meeting, so he will arrive between 6:45 and 7. So I just want everybody to know, if you get there at 6 o'clock, 6:30, the senator is not there, just because he's not scheduled to be there yet. The senator will be arriving between 6:45 and 7. That has been scheduled with the party. We decided to go ahead and just keep the meeting as usual. We've got some business we need to handle between that 6:30 and 6:45, 7 o'clock time period that we'll handle. And then Senator Perdue will be able to do his presentation. And then you, if you decide to come, you can ask some questions. And that'll be a great thing, because, you know, it's not often that here in Rockdale County, most of the time these high profile folks, they bypass Rockdale County and we don't get them. But you know what? Senator Perdue is, he's campaigning everywhere. And I'm glad to see that, you know, he thought, and I didn't call them, they called me. They called, excuse me, they called the Rockdale Republican Party and they asked to come and they scheduled. So, you know, they want to come to Rockdale County and speak to us. So I was glad to have them come, glad to have them speak. And that's why I'm putting it out there and inviting each and every one of you. Come to the meeting on Thursday, meet Senator David Perdue, and ask him why he's running for the governor of Georgia and what he thinks he can do for you that the current governor is not doing. Great opportunity to meet people this fall. Also, just to let you know, the Rockdale Voter is planning on organizing a debate for all candidates running for office in Rockdale County. And not only will the debate being the candidates be included, but the Rockdale Voter will also be debating the SPLOST. So we will have the Vote No committee. And if someone from the Vote Yes committee wants to represent the why we should vote for the SPLOST, when we will ask them to come to the forum. And we will have a panel. They will ask questions. So that'll be a good thing. We're not only candidates, but we will have the opportunity for the Vote No and Vote Yes SPLOST people to have a platform there also. Very rare that you have a Vote Yes, Vote No platform for that. So the Rockdale Voter intends to do that. The Rockdale Voter intends to include that in their forum, and I think that's going to be interesting. So, guys, I just hope that you've enjoyed tonight's show. I have enjoyed presenting my presentation to you here tonight. And as always, I love each and every one of you, and have a good week. And until next week, good night, guys. Have a good